Okay. I had said yesterday I was going to do a video about radical dating and conscious procreation. I didn't get to it yesterday because I had some training for work and some schoolwork I had to do. But I will be talking about it today, right now actually, as conversations have caused me to really think about this, about how women, it's important for women to learn how to not set themselves up for failure when they're dating, and protect themselves. Think of dating radically so they can avoid heartache and pain. And this is definitely something I have experienced many times firsthand, and because of that, I have vowed to myself to become more sucker free and know what the hell, and really think consciously about what the hell I'm doing when I am trying to find a prospect or a potential mate moving forward. And I believe that a lot of women, and I have to say this because this is based on what women are telling me, conversations women have with me, I've had with them, women who have reached out to me personally to get my advice on their relationship or something, or somebody that they're dating. And what I'm seeing is a trend. And the trend that I see is that a lot of women are setting themselves up for failure when they're dating. And I'm not saying that men do not have these same struggles, but of course, if you read in my bio, I only care about Black women and children. I only care about prioritizing what's best for them first. So I will be addressing Black women directly more. And I've noticed that on my page with some women, they're becoming a little bit more conflicted with some of the messages I'm putting out there, because they're used to me pretty much having a whole lot to say about Black men and what Black men are doing. And believe me, I won't ever address that. But what I do believe is more important is addressing what I see Black women are doing, because I want to see Black women succeed. I want to see Black women happy. I don't want to see too many more inboxes from sisters who are getting this whole dating game messed up, getting played left and right, crying all the time about some man. So I said, you know what? Let me do a video to address this. And no, I'm not currently in a relationship, and this video is not pertaining to women who are married, because I don't give advice on marriages. I only give advice on women who are to women who are single, actively dating, or choose to date within the future. And I'm only because I'm not married or relationship, I don't give marriage advice especially, but I will be talking to women, single women, and things that they can do to avoid certain heartbreaks and heartaches that I have experienced. I'm sure they have experienced, some women are currently experiencing, and what we can do to avoid those things. So we definitely need to start looking at ourselves and within ourselves to see where some of these issues lie, because we have a part to play. Now, we know that these no good dudes, quote unquote, exist. However, we know they exist. So at some point, we need to develop some sort of strategy. We need to embrace some sort of philosophy or strategy in order to avoid being played by these dudes that we know and we admit to knowing exist. And this is what I was talking about on my previous post when it comes to accountability. When you have accountability, you know that the issue exists, which in this case, according to this video, it will be men who are not worthy of dating, procreating with, marrying, or probably don't even want to marry you, just based on the conversations I have with men. They don't even want to be married, a lot of them. But definitely taking accountability for these choices that we are making. So I'm gonna move forward. That was my little intro. So the first point, and this video might run long because I tend to be very mouthy. So if you don't want to stay throughout the whole video, I do not take it personal, I promise. Okay, the first thing I wanted to address, Fairytale Fantasies. So if you know anything about personal development, psychology, sociology, you will know that our developments start as when we are children. Now, when you want to talk about male and female relationships, I think that it's safe to say that we got to go back to the childhood. Certain things that was instilled in us, certain things that we became, that kind of contributed to our socialization. And by socialization, I mean things that are pretty much that we learn, things that are taught to us, things or messages that are given to us in order for us to develop a certain belief on something. Okay, so the fairy tale fantasy. This is something that I know for a fact and know that it still exists. Is that girls, we are definitely socialized to the fairy tale fantasies, certain things that we watch, movies, games that we were conditioned to play revolve around a fairy tale. When you think of a fairy tale, what do you think of? You think of Helpless Princess or Damsel in Distress and Prince Charming. White Knight is another way you can say it. Pretty much, girls are becoming, how can I say it? They are becoming infatuated with the idea of a man saving them, rescuing them, falling deeply in love, living happily ever after. This is things that we are becoming socialized to as young girls. And I can see where as we mature into women, we carry on this belief as we become adult women, and we in turn go out there pursuing someone or waiting for someone to pursue us with this same ideology. And I see this kind of set us up for failure. What I see is it how can I say it? When I'll put it here. Romanticism versus realism. Okay, we cannot romanticize everything at a certain point, especially as you become an adult. When you continuously choose to live within a fantasy, sometimes it clouds our judgment when dealing with the realistic situation. And that can also be said of when it comes to dating. If you are a young girl who grows up to be a woman, waiting for her Prince Charming, waiting for her white knight to come rescue her and save her because you put yourself in a position of a damsel who needs to be rescued, sometimes that can cloud your judgment when you're looking for a potential or looking at a potential partner, trying to assess that potential partner and not really trying to deal with those realistic characteristics that he's bringing to you. And what I see with women, when I speak to women, it is just when they tell me, they had this sort of fantasy. A lot of women, I realize when they get with men, a lot of them already have everything that they see with this man mapped out moving forward years, and they're already anticipating, having children with the man, marrying the man. And I can tell with some of these women, a lot of them have not had this open discussion with the man himself. Sorry, I had to laugh at that. And then they ended up getting their hopes up, getting played, and somehow because there were some things or signs, so to speak, that they did not catch on to. And what they will do is, and then they end up setting themselves up for failure because they got so caught up in the, hey, how you doing, Stephanie? Hey, how you doing, Shantae? Because they got caught up in the fantasy and did not want to deal with the reality of that man that they were pursuing. And of course, I also got to make a disclaimer. I'm talking about heterosexual relationships as well, because as a woman who does not date women, I don't know what those experiences are like. So I try not to speak on things that I cannot say I have not experienced. But what I can say I experienced is in my late teens, early 20s, when I was dating, that was definitely a habit that I've had, was pretty much dating men, already trying to plan our life together, because I was just some girl who was looking for love. Desperate for it in a sense. I can even say desperate for it, to the point where I was not acting rationally in certain things that these men showed me. I overlooked it pretty much, so I could keep validating this fantasy I had in my mind about this relationship. And this is something that I see a lot of women continuously do. And So yes, romanticism versus realism. Now, my thing is this. I know some women, we're like, oh, but I just want to be with somebody, and it's understandable. Like I said, as young girls, we're already socialized pretty much to become adult women, and the first thing on our mind is getting a man. Sometimes, I mean, nowadays you see with black women in particular, the subject being brought up that we are taught to be more independent. And when they say independent, what they mean is obtaining resources for ourselves. Because before, that was solely relied on the man to do that. However, I also see that we're raised to be independent women, and at the same time, we're still being pushed those fantasy ideas when it comes to relationships with men, to where we become independent women desperate for men. And you can even see this when you see a lot of women pretty much taking care of men, not just financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, really supporting that man and not really getting any reciprocation. Because even if we are raised to obtain resources for ourselves, we're still raised to long for that or have a desire for love and romance and all that jazz, So what I want to say is that we need to, that I'm not saying women should not hope for love. Okay. I don't want to say that. But what I want to say is that women should learn to be more realistic as well. Know how to assess the person that you are dealing with. I wrote down some questions that I believe that we should ask ourselves, okay? When you are in front of a potential mate, prospect, partner, what you might want to say, ask yourself. The first thing and these are questions that I came up with myself, and I'm going to just share it, okay? Does he value women in general? To me, that is very important because I have a lot of male friends, okay? I have probably just as much male friends as I do female close friends. What I will say is whether he values women in general is very important to me. Now, to some women, because we have I believe if you have a selfish way of thinking, you'll be like, well, as long as he treats me good, I'm okay with that. But this is the setup. If this man does not really value women in general, I don't think that man can really value you as a woman. What I believe is if you see him, even though he treats you just even halfway decent, if you're just even halfway decent, if he's halfway decent treating you, but you see him treating other women like trash, speaking about other women like trash, constantly calling other women out their name, ain't too much far ahead when he's going to start to reveal those true colors onto you. That's what I believe, and that was my experience, okay? Even if I've had men that were good, because, we're all looking for a good man. Hey, cuz, yes, I would definitely tell mama you say hey, and thank you for the compliment. That's a wolf in sheep clothing, okay? First sign, how he treats other women, even women within his life. I'll exclude his mama because from what I've learned from dating mama's boys or whatever, is they treat their mom like gold, but their mom can be sometimes very possessive of him. So she has a competitive nature when it comes to other women. And that can be very toxic to your relationship with that man as well, because I've definitely seen it where the girlfriends or the wives of the son and the mother are constantly beefing, and that also puts a strain on the relationship. So I would exclude his mother, but and even his close sisters, but like just women in general. I mean, I'm sure you and this man will not just be confined together all the damn time. Just see how he interacts with other women, how he addresses other women, how he talks to other women. Because the way I see it is this: yes, he might be treating you well, at least at that time. But if he treats other women like trash, or if you have conversations with him and he has certain views when it comes to women, general views when it comes to women that are inherently toxic, it's not too far along, you're going to eventually see those turn towards you. Because the reason being is he's getting something from you. More than likely, y'all sleeping together. More than likely, you're giving him emotional support, spiritual support. So as long as he's getting something from you, he gonna treat you well if he's smart. And if you're treating a man well and he ain't treating you like that, just run, okay? But if he treats other women like crap and treats you well, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I guarantee you. I don't like to waver. I don't like to put the probabilities out there, because when it comes to the preservation of women, and when it comes to talking about women preserving themselves, I don't do ifs, ands, or buts. I do, it's going to be like that or it's not like that. And what I believe is that saves you more. I'd rather you be more cautious than be more gullible and naive, or trying to waver a little bit, because that's just too much work, and that takes away your time and your effort putting into somebody. We're always not really being too sure about somebody. You know what I'm saying? So to me, the way I've always learned to pretty much avoid being a sucker for some man is either he's showing that quality or he doesn't have that quality, and I'm moving on. Okay, next question I put down here. What are his family goals? That's very important. When you are talking, you have to know what this man's game plan is. This ain't my connections week, so I hope that my video continues. If not, I'll just continue do another video. But what is his family goals? Like for me, I'm a single woman with no children. I will not date a man if he expresses to me he does not want children eventually. You know what I'm saying? Even if he has children, which more than likely I probably wouldn't date a man who has children either. But that's my family goal. My family goal is I want a child. I want more than one child. This is what I want. He tells me what he wants. Either that matches or it don't. If it matches, we're going to be moving forward. If it don't match, I wish you the best, pretty much. I just don't got the time to play, okay? So yes, make sure that your family goals are matching, because there are couples I know personally where those goals are not matching, and that can cause potential problems, especially when it comes to whether you want children or not. And I'm going to talk about conscious procreation in a little bit. But whether or not you want children, where you want to live, such like that. What are your family goals? Make sure that matches as well. Because if it don't match, I don't see the point in even continuing trying to get to know the person. I really don't. I just think it's a waste of time. What qualities does he bring? I have general qualities that I believe every man should be able to provide and protect for his women and his family. That's what I believe every woman should get, at least at the bare fucking minimum. Whatever other qualities you want that man to have, you can assess that for yourself. You know what you want. And make sure that man matches those qualities. And if he doesn't, if you want to compromise, then go for it. Me, I don't, like I said, provide and protect. And then it's going to be like, respect. Like I said, he has to value women in general. I have other things, but if he doesn't have that, then I don't want him. But a lot of women, we kind of sometimes try to compromise. We compromise a lot. Just based on what women are telling me, we constantly try to say, oh, well, maybe. We always got to have that question out there. Even if you express that somewhere in your intuition, somewhere deep down inside, it's telling you that it's wrong, sometimes you still have to have that sort of doubt in there. Eliminate doubt. Eliminate doubt. If he does not have those qualities that you want in a man, you should not be giving him too much attention. Okay? Too much attention. Moving forward, what resources does he bring? All right? Resources are hardly assessed. From when I speak to many women, resources are hardly assessed. I mean, nowadays I'm seeing people talking about, date a man, if a man has the potential, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, if he has the potential, or like I said, those are fantasies. Pretty much. If realistically he is not bringing in that moment resources that you can use and pretty much merge with your resources that you can bring, if you and you can't build something off of that, is an unrealistic fantasy. I mean, to some people it works. We have those success stories, but those are exceptions. I don't believe that they are the rules. If he does not have the resources in order to help build a healthy relationship, a stable home environment, I wouldn't even talk to him. I don't even I wouldn't, if he's a stranger, I wouldn't even put him as a friend. I wouldn't keep him around. It's just like, there's other women out there for you, okay? What are his experiences? Okay, that's important to me. Now, I had did a post maybe a few months ago about wounded soul addiction. I had said on another post yesterday that women, I believe, we have natural maternalistic instincts, okay? So what I see is a lot of women trying to raise men all over again. That's why you have to know a man's experiences. And not saying that a man who has gone through certain things in his life is not, worthy of dating. But what I'm going to say is take that into consideration, because a lot of them have not healed from those experiences before, especially if it was a traumatic childhood experience. A lot of men have not healed from those experiences. So what you will get is an unstable emotional man. More than likely, I've dated them because I've had wounded soul addiction. I had a thing of wanting to save people. I still have the advocate mind frame. I still have the, the healer mind frame. But I'm not trying, but I've learned that you're not supposed to always try to build a relationship with broken people. And I put that in there, and I'm sorry to say it like that, but they have to go on their journey and they have to heal. It is not your job to save them. Okay? You can support, and damn sure not your job to sleep with them, because then that's just comfort sex. And with comfort sex, what we get out of comfort sex sometimes, oops babies. Yeah, I like, don't set yourself up. No oops babies, because you was giving a man comfort sex because he have not healed from some of his experiences. Okay, and women, like I said, we have certain maternalistic instincts, and I know men to run game on women using the sympathy card, because they will tell women a lot of times the things that they have gone through, sometimes still battling certain things, and women are like, oh my gosh, I feel so sorry for him, oh my gosh, sis, I gotta save him. And I'm looking at you, girl, by yourself, because I have been down that road before, and all it has gotten me was, look, I ain't married yet. What the hell? A waste of my goddamn time. A waste of precious time in my good years in my life, when I still had my body banging everything. But what I'm saying is assess his experiences. I'm not going to say that he's completely dead and void, but if he's not healed from those experiences, he does not express to you that he has been able to accept what has happened to him, learn from that poor choice, or take accountability for a certain mistake he have made, don't fuck with him, because he's still growing. You know what I'm saying? He's still growing, and more than likely, if you react in the way that you're trying to save him, he's not going to really put too much work in. And that's one thing I've realized with people, because a lot of women think that they're trying to save men, but they end up enabling men more so, and not allowing them to really try to heal their own issues. They pretty much try to take a brunt of that work from them, and that's a waste of your time. Okay. Fear, I put down here, fear of being alone. That goes back to what I was saying, the fairy tale fantasies that a lot of these women have as young girls growing into women looking for their happily ever after. A lot of women sometimes have a fear of being alone. I love being alone. It's my peace. I have the most peace. I don't have to worry about no other problems outside of problems I create for myself, okay? But a lot of women have that fear of being alone, and because they have that fear of being alone, they go out seeking men in a desperate sort of way. They react more so out of desperation. And when you have to watch out, because like I said earlier, we know that certain men exist who really do not have anything that they want to offer you. They don't have anything of substance to really bring to the table. And because they don't have those things that they bring to the table, when they see a desperate woman, they're going to latch on to that woman. Okay, they're going to latch on to that woman. They can smell the desperation. I promise you. I speak to men, and when I speak to men in regards to dating, they speak from a point of they really do think that they have a grip on this dating game. But women, they speak out of fear. They're like, oh, I'm afraid of the men out there. I'm afraid to be alone too. A lot of men, when I talk to them, I don't see them have that much of a fucking fear. I really don't. I don't think men inherently fear being played by women. I do not believe that, just based off of the conversations I have with them. But women, we have that fear inherently. We have a fear of being alone and a fear of getting played by a man, because it's too much of a common scenario and we see it going on with, within our lives and within other people around us, women around us or whatever. So we have that fear, the fear of being alone. We have to get over that fear. And if you have a fear of being alone, then that tells me that there's something inherently within you that you probably still need to heal. You need to heal certain things within yourself so you can enjoy your own fucking company. And until you enjoy your own company, until you love your own company, until you love being yourself, when you're with a man, you're not going to love yourself enough to really try to detach if you have to. What can you offer a man if you don't love yourself? You know what I'm saying? What I would say the same thing in return. What can a man offer you if he doesn't love himself? That's why I said his experiences matter. Is he traumatized? Is he still healing through things? Okay, yeah. If you don't love yourself, what can you offer someone else? Really? You have to love yourself, love your own company. Do not have a fear of being alone. So when you do date, you can date more radically because you are thinking of your preservation. You are thinking of not compromising the love that you have for yourself. So you wouldn't be accepting just any old bullshit some man presents to you on a plate, okay? Now, I have put down here the setup. And I'm going to talk about some setups that I see trying to work against women, okay? I put down here broken love. I just spoke about that. Broken love. What I call broken love is when you have, say you're a woman, like I said, a woman trying to heal a man. That's broken love. You are building a relationship with a man, but you're more so putting more work trying to heal that man, more so than you are putting work in the actual relationship and the success of the relationship. The making sure that the relationship is healthy, you know what I'm saying? So you have more of a you're wasting your time, pretty much. I'm gonna say it like that. I'm trying not to come down hard, because I know I can come down hard, and I've been seeing how some things I'm saying, a lot of women are being very sensitive right now. I don't know whether it's been in the air, whether it's just the full moon we just came off of, but yeah, I'm gonna try not to say it too harsh. But broken love, you cannot save a man. Damn it, K. Michelle even said you can't raise a man. We gotta listen. If he is broken, pity pussy is not gonna save him. Okay, I'm gonna say it just like that. Pity pussy is not gonna save him. You can't fuck him into healing. Okay, I've heard some women say some things like that. Well, I got this pussy. You can't fuck him into healing. He has to do some self-work. Allow him to do some self-work. Tell him to come back when he's done. Okay? Struggle love. Struggle love, struggle love, struggle love. Everybody knows about the struggle love. I talk about it all the time. Struggle love. Financially, a lot of women are very afraid, I've realized, especially black women, afraid to say out of their mouth, I want a man with money. Okay? I want a financially secure man. I cannot do nothing with a man who is struggling. If I'm struggling, I have nothing. I wouldn't even date. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even date. I've had men that I've dated or tried to have a relationship with who just was not where he needed to be financially. Now, maybe in your early 20s, okay, depending on the circumstances, you are both going off into your career paths or whatever, not making the money that is going to eventually generate. However, when a man is not financially responsible, not financially stable, and there is no potential, and potential does not always exist within that man. In fact, I know that poverty consciousness exists. I know that there are some people who breed children into poverty, and those children stay in poverty. They breed their children into poverty. Those children stay in poverty. Is a recurrent thing. Poverty can be recurrent. So you have to know whether or not you have I just say this. At my age, I'm almost 30 years old. You better have your shit together at this point. Okay? I have to assess that there's some women that might be a little younger. They might be a struggling college student. I can see realistically dating another dating a man who is also a struggling college student. However, me, I'm an almost 30-year-old woman. I've had a 10-year career. I'm retired from that career and going into my new career. A man better be on his shit like I'm going to be on my shit. Pretty much, it has to match. It has to be equal. And not only that, but because men want us to have children, a lot of men don't want to protect themselves when they're laying down with you. If a baby was to come out of it, I want to make sure that man can take care of that child. So you best to have your money up when you're talking to me. Absolutely. And a lot of women need to be bold in that request, because what I see is a lot of women dating these men, holding him down, being his ride or die when he's struggling because she wants to look like she's that top-notch woman. And I don't even think that's top-notch, but she want to look like she's that top-notch woman, really holding men down, woo woo woo. And then she gives him a whole bunch of fucking kids, and then after that relationship just fizzles, now you chasing his ass all around town for $50 a month in child support. I'll be damned. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that he got them finances right beforehand. Make sure that if you have to cut that man off for whatever reason, he will, and there were children that came out of that situation, he's able to take care of them. Because even if you don't got to deal with him on a romantic level, especially you have children involved, you will be dealing with him moving forward. And he has to be able to co-parent. But a lot of women don't assess that in that moment. They don't think like I said earlier, women will assess their wedding. They'll be dating a man for 2 weeks and already thinking about how their wedding's going to be with this man, but they ain't thinking about whether he can take care of the children that eventually I might give birth to. You know what I'm saying? We got to think about it in all angles, and we cannot continue to make excuses for ourselves for not assessing these things. Okay. This another setup, Mr. Potential. Kind of just spoke on that a little bit too. I see a lot of women that will talk to me and be like, hey sis, I'm talking to this man and and he's a cool dude or whatever, but he got this negative quality, this negative quality, this negative quality. It can ride on the lines of, oh, well, he's not really working. He's in between jobs now. So right now he's staying with his mama, but sometimes he gets his mama money. So, but he also don't got no car, girl, he got like 5 baby mamas, but he does take care of his kids sometimes, but he got potential, girl. No. Mr. Potential is a fucking setup. If you're my age and older talking to me like this, I'm looking at you crazy. I promise you, I'm looking at you crazy. Mr. Potential at a certain age should not exist. And that is my philosophy, and I'm sticking with that philosophy. Mr. Potential at a certain age should not exist. I mean, we always have potential to be greater than ourselves. We always have potential to elevate more, to strive for success more. But you have to at least have the fucking bare minimum. I mean, damn, at least have the bare minimum. And if you ain't got that, I have nothing for you, bruh. I have nothing for you. So Mr. Potential is a setup. If his potential is to at least get to the bare minimum, that's not potential, baby girl. He is not stable. He is not ready to date. And if you allow yourself to be that choice for him, then, I mean, shit. I don't know. Like I said, when you make things, I've learned from my experiences in my previous relationships, the more easier I make it for men, the less work they put out. The more I make it easier for them, the less they really put out, the less effort they really put out. So if he doesn't have to have shit in order to get you, I don't see a man really motivating himself just solely for you to actually increase himself, unless he inherently wants that for himself. And I feel like this, like I said, I'll be 30 this year. If a man and I date older men than me, if a man is older than me and he still does not have that, I don't see myself entertaining him. Actually, I know I won't. I won't entertain them at all. Mr. Potential is a setup. Be careful, okay? Another thing. I wish that this thing had a timer on it. Another thing I wrote down here. Take everything a man says at face value. That is a big one that I had to learn. That is a big one that I feel like I'm telling more and more sisters every day when they reach out to me. If a woman in a conversation with a sister might kind of go like this, it'll kind of go like, oh, well, he said he really does not want a relationship right now. He's saying that, he's not ready for it, but stop. And I stopped him right there. I said, what did he say? He said he don't want a relationship right now. He ain't showing no interest in a relationship. Take what that man said and believe what that man said. Okay? Stop doing all that extra shit. Stop doing all that making up shit that a lot of women tend to do. I've done it. I know, because I was in a situationship with a man for 2 years, and he told me from the very beginning that he did not want a relationship. But I did not believe him. And for 2 years, I was waiting around for this man to come around and eventually say, okay, now I want a relationship. No. It's just not going to happen. And now I wasted 2 years of my life when I could have been out just dating and having fun and enjoying my life. But I was too busy up under that man's ass waiting for him to give me something he already told me from the very beginning he wasn't going to give me. And we had to take accountability for that. I hear a lot of sisters always telling me, oh, well, a lot of these men, they'll trick you. They'll say this, woo, woo. And I'm like, I know for a fact, especially if I talk to certain sisters or I know certain sisters personally, I'm like, I know for a fact that man told you. That's who he is. A lot of men will tell you, even if they don't say it verbatim, they will give you those hints that they just inherently ain't shit. They're not going to be really trying to work too hard for something. Some of them do make promises. That's why I say, if you have a stable man, you don't got to deal with a whole bunch of excuses. You don't have to deal with a whole bunch of empty promises, potential empty promises. You already got a man who already got this shit already together, and y'all can just focus on building and moving forward. You know what I'm saying? But when you have a man who is constantly still talking about, well, eventually, well, potentially, I mean, it's just too much. Take it at face value. Do not add on too much extra to what men are saying. Just like I had read on that post that was being shared around by that exchange between the mother and her no good ass baby daddy. He pretty much admitted to being a no good ass baby daddy, because he has said in the text, well, I told you to kill the baby, or something on the lines of that. So my thing is this. He told you to kill the baby. Not saying that he ain't wrong for saying it, because that's just trash. But what I'm saying is, you gave birth to this baby. Now you chasing him around, trying to make him be a father when he pretty much said he don't want to parent. At least not, well, from what I read, he had other children. He don't want to parent a child with you. He pretty much told you straight up. You know what I'm saying? He pretty much told you straight up that he does not wish to parent a child with you, and you intentionally continue to carry this pregnancy full term, gave birth to the child. Now you're begging him to do things, and you cannot force anybody to do anything for you. We have to understand that. You cannot force these men to do right by you when they literally telling your ass they ain't going to do right by you. That's why I said, take everything a man says at face value. That goes for anybody. But when it comes to dealing with the relationship with a man, because we got too many children being born into these situations, we have to be more serious about this. We have to be more radical in our choices. And we have to take accountability for the poor choices that we make. I can't wait to see y'all either. So yeah, there's some accountability that I believe that women don't want to take, because when I talk to women, especially when it comes to men, because a lot of them don't want to admit that they have been silly, they have been gullible for men. They don't want to admit that, damn, am I just that dumb? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a question I had to ask myself after my last relationship. I had to sit in my room, and I've learned getting over a failed relationship is the biggest obstacle is not getting over the individual himself, But the biggest obstacle is getting over the shame that I had of myself for putting up with such bullshit from the individual. You know what I'm saying? The biggest thing I had to get over in my last relationship was, damn, I really looked like a motherfucking fool dealing with this man. I knew in my gut that this was not the man for me. I should have terminated this relationship a while ago. You know what I'm saying? Or if I was going to continue a relationship, I got to make sure I'm getting something out of this shit, because I wasn't getting really nothing compared to what I was giving to him. So I had to assess that, and that shame I had within myself. I had to look at myself and be like, damn, am I really this dumb? Am I really this foolish? I mean, I was taught better. I knew better because I've had other niggas like him before him. I had to really assess what the hell I did in that, or what I contributed to that situation. I couldn't just sit around and just say, oh, well, he ain't shit and he just ain't, like that just wasn't good enough for me, because I know that I didn't want to be in that situation again where I was depressed for months on long, you know, crying over some nigga who just was some average ass nigga, you know. So I had to really dig into myself. I mean, sometimes I don't believe in beating yourself up or sitting in self-pity. But what I do believe is you have to have an honest conversation with yourself about your choices. You have to have an honest conversation with yourself about the situation outside of the emotional. And I believe you can emotionally work on the emotional healing, but also work on rationally thinking about the lessons that you're learning from the situation. Okay? Moving forward. Now hold on a second. I'm going to put my phone on the charger.